Okay, everybody, we are back here on Tip-Off, our final round of segments for this show. And don't go away too far because our other podcast that we like to do, Good Guy, Bad Guy, will be filmed right after this.
And where can they find it? Tell the people where they can find it. It's streaming now, the podcast, right?
Where you can find it is everywhere. Where
Okay.
can you find it?
All right. That sounds good.
YouTube, Spotify, I'm sure probably.
And what do they have to type in to find it?
YouTube.com. Just look for the Newcastle News page, and it's right there. That's where our basketball tip-off site is. Pete's put us on Spotify. He's got us everywhere.
All right. Good Guy, Bad Guy Sports, right?
That's right. Good Guy, Bad Guy Sports. We have a few segments coming up for that one. But first off, before we close up basketball, we have, first off, girls basketball participation has been down over the years. There's a feature that's coming out later in the week, maybe next week, sometime soon, and we're going to localize it. Girls basketball participation over the years is down 21% since 2000. That's not just Lawrence County. The way I'm understanding it is around the state. That's quite a big difference, and we added it up last night. The 2015-2016 basketball tab, we fished it out. Remember, we were down at the old building, and I knew exactly where all the tabs were in a huge, spacious building. And what I used to call, we were an ant and an elephant's rear end down there. Now we're an elephant and an ant's rear end up here because it's really and finding stuff and knowing where everything's at, knowing where I put it, we had to look for it. But the 2015-2016 girls basketball rosters, we were adding up rosters that appeared in the tab. This is when they started the year, not as the end of the year. There was 106 girls, I believe, if our memory serves me, in that tab. This year's girls basketball tab, again, at the beginning part of the year, there were 97. So we're down 9. However, if you want to spin it another way, you could look at every girls' team, and there's either injuries or quit or whatever you want to call it. So there's far less than 97. Neshannock girls are able to play a JV schedule when the other team can play it. So they haven't played JV in probably, I think Luann Grabowski told me, about a month. Wilmington can play JV, but they haven't played JV consistently because it falls on the other team. So participation is down quite a bit in the state. Before I ask you your thoughts, it's going to get worse in a couple years. Why, Ron, is it going to get worse? Because of the shot clock. Because you're going to have games that are, you look at state scores now, 88-5, 82-10, 97-13, and that's without a shot clock. You put a shot clock in, and those good teams, they're going to pound you with a shot clock. And there's going to be kids that say, I don't want any part of this, and participation is going to go down even further.
Well, the Post-Gazette did a story, Mike White, the sports editor, about the high school basketball, and in particular the girls' game. And he interviewed Luann Grabowski. He interviewed Jason Rankin. And, 90% of the games are blowouts. I mean, they're not 20-point games. They're not 20-point blowouts. They're 50-point blowouts. Yep. And I think that goes hand in hand with what you're saying. Newcastle, the numbers are down. I think Jason said he has 10 players on the roster. They're 0-17. Newcastle at one time was a girls basketball powerhouse. Luann and Jason both won WPIAL championships at Newcastle. My daughters played girls basketball, all 4 of them. I don't remember these games being blowouts. You might have 1 or 2 games a year that it was a blowout, but most of the games were very competitive, and they were 10-point or less games. So, yeah, I don't know why. The article in the Post-Gazette suggested more girls are playing volleyball than basketball. And basketball's a tough game, Ronnie. It's a skill game. The fitness level required to play the game is much higher than, let's say, volleyball. It's a more physical game. I had a couple daughters who I love dearly, leave the court with bloody noses. My one daughter broke her collarbone. I mean, it's a physical game. It's a skill game that you have to practice. It's a year-round game, and maybe, just maybe, you can't find girls willing to make that commitment. But it's down. Some teams, it was suggested, don't have a junior high team. How in the world can you play varsity basketball at the high school level if you didn't play in junior high? I mean, I always said you got to start playing basketball probably at age 3, working on grade 3, working on your skills. By 5th and 6th grade, you should be playing regular games. And by junior high, I mean, you should be developing. If you're not playing junior high basketball, you have no chance of being a competitive player at the varsity level. So I think it's multifactorial. The physicality of the game, the fitness of the game, the time it takes to be good at the game are all factors why young people don't want to play.
Yeah, Newcastle, they're 0-20, 0-20 or 0-21, something like that. They play West Allegheny on Thursday in the season finale. So if they're not playing their full allotment of 22 games, then they're 0-20. But if they are playing 22, then they're 0-21. Either way, they're winless. Larry, before we go, I'm going to ask you a question, and I know we're going to differ on this. Over under a half basketball teams that drop the program after maybe in a couple years because of dwindling numbers. Over under a half. WPIL.
It's going to be close, but I still believe it will be under a half. You think it's going to be over, and you may be right. Listen to me. I mean, as teams get beat 80-10, you're going to have less girls playing. Who wants to go through that?
Right.
Who wants to watch that? And I'm telling you, I'd like to do a statistical analysis. I bet, and I'm 80% or more of the games, the point differential's 30 points or greater.
Yep.
80% or more, maybe 90%, Ronnie. And again, so are you going to want to play basketball if you're going out there and your team's getting beat 88-10? And some of these coaches, they just don't get it. They pressure the whole game, and the girls can't get the ball across the half court line. And not only do you get beat, you get embarrassed. So you may be right. You may be right.
And I don't want to use Newcastle as the sole, example, but Newcastle, I was just typing their box score when I first came in tonight from Monday's game. I think they have maybe 6 or 7 girls that played. And again, they lost, I think, 70-18. So, naturally, if they're on the bench and you lose by round about 52 points, you got to be playing. And if you're not, there's got to be something wrong with you, injury related or disciplinary, something. And if they're literally down to 7 and they're a mess and they're 0-20 or 0-21, what does the junior high program look like? Are they going to have the numbers next year? And I know I'm using Newcastle, but let's just say it's Team A, and you're in that predicament. At some point in a few years, Team A is going to be Team A's out the window.
The kids lose interest. Part of a successful program is getting the kids excited to be part of the team at the varsity level. I mean, Freddie Mazzocco has done that in our football program. Ralph has always done it in our basketball program. And Jason Rankin knows how to coach, my man. He has a couple, as an assistant coach for John Sarandria and as a head coach, he got a bunch of WPIAL championship rings. But when you're getting beat like this, right, the girls have a choice. Well, I'm going to either play volleyball, and Newcastle's volleyball program is picking up, or I'm going to play basketball. And again, basketball is more physical. Basketball, I think, requires a higher fitness level. And basketball, maybe, volleyball, there's a lot of skill. Don't get me wrong. But I think not quite the same skill game that's required in basketball.
Yeah.
So the more girls that go to volleyball, the less you're going to have playing hoops, and you got to have numbers, Ronnie.
Softball. They're also leaving basketball to play things like softball too.
Yeah. Basketball's a physical game. I'm telling you. My wife blames me because not all of my daughter's fingers are straight. You know, I don't know. And I'm not so sure they'd have played if it wasn't for me. But the Kelly girls are okay, though. They were tough. They were okay. Yes, they were.
You got to play the Lee Majors role. You're the fall guy. You know, somebody's got to be the fall guy.
Yeah, I guess that's me. I don't know. But you're right, Ronnie. The numbers are dwindling, and they're dwindling fast. Mm-hmm. If you go back to 2010, 5 more years, I bet that difference is more than just 9 players.
Right. Yeah, for sure. All right, Larry, anything else you want to say on tip-off 2025, 2026 as we get ready for the playoff pairings next week?
Well, again, you know, now one-and-done basketball is a little scary. And one of the things that I noticed, I did a little math before we came on the air. And on Saturday's box scores, the high school teams in our county at the foul line, Ronnie, were 73 for 149. That's 49% from the foul line. Our goal at Newcastle was to shoot closer to 70%, you know, make 2 out of every 3. And when you get down to crunch time, you've said this even more than me, when you get down to crunch time, oftentimes it's the ability to make foul shots, to convert free throws at the end of the game that determine the winner. Get to the line and make them and knock them down. And I just have noticed it all year that teams are shooting about 50% from the foul line. So I don't know. Are they practicing enough? I don't know what Newcastle's foul shooting percentage is this year. I don't know that. But we always started practice and finished practice at the foul line, you know, and tried to create. When I was coaching, my shtick was, you know, you had to make 20 before we started, not shoot 20, make 20. And then we would run a drill. And, you know, depending on how many layups we missed, we would go to the foul line under pressure, because for every layup we missed, you got to run a suicide. And so if you missed, you know, 10 layups, you're running 10 suicides, but you got a chance to knock them off. You go to the foul line, you make 2, you're down to 8. You know what I mean? And then if you made the 2, I'd give you another one. If you made 3, you'd knock off 5 more. So, I mean, those are the things that we would do, because, you know, at the end of the game, you got to make foul shots. I just remember this. I'm going to leave you with this. We're playing Quaker Valley. It's down at the Pete, and it's the end of the game. And, you know, it's a 1-possession game. And one of our best players, who shall remain nameless, went to the foul line in the last minute and missed 2. We get the ball back, and a young man that I coached, Khalil Dorman, and he wasn't the best player on the team, but man, did he work hard. And I just remember him every practice, you know, at the end of practice, man, he's at that foul line and he's working on it and he's working on it. And he gets fouled with about 8 seconds to go in the game, and it's a 2-point game. And he makes them both, Ronnie. He makes them both to put us up by 4 and basically ice the game. So it's going to come down to that. Listen, when you got 2 really good teams, I'm telling you, it's coming down to foul shots down the stretch. So let's hope the Red Hurricane are knocking them down. But I'll say the same for all of our county teams. You shoot 50% from the foul line in a WPIAL playoff game, there's a pretty good chance you're not winning.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I had that written down on my notes, fine-tuning things for the playoffs, and that was the whole segment was to be talking about free throw shooting in the postseason. One thing that I will mention to you, Monday night, the Union girls were at home. They blew out, I can't remember who they played. Leechburg, I think it was. 50-something to 18 route. Played at home on your own court, where you're shooting free throws in practice every day on your own court. Their free throw percentage, any guesses how many they made and how many they attempted?
I don't know, but apparently not very many, because you're about to get to it.
I'll tell you, they attempted 14.
And
any guess on how many they made?
2.
3. On your own court, on your own hoops. You made 3.
Again, you do shoot better at home than you do on the road, but I don't have to tell Coach Nogue that come playoff time, his team needs to knock down free throws. I can't tell you how many games come down to free throws in the last 2 minutes of the game. I can't tell you how many. It's just, and you better be able to make them.
And here's where the plot thickens. Tuesday, the day after, tonight, as we sit here, the Union girls played a 5:30 game at St. Joseph. So they were away, not practicing on those courts, on those hoops. They shoot 21 free throws made and attempted 27. They were 21 of 27.
Well, there you go.
There
you go. Well, Coach Nogue probably had something to say about that after that 3 for 14 exhibition. So you got to make free throws. Oftentimes, that's what it comes down to. And you've watched as much basketball as I have. I can't tell you how many times, man, it comes down to the last maybe 10 seconds of the game. Unfortunately, I can still remember Rodney Gallagher going to the line and making 2 against us to beat us in a Whitfield championship game when they made that BS call against us with about, 8/10 of a second left in the game. But to his credit, went to the line and made them both. So you got to make free throws, Ronnie, and you got to make them, as I like to say, when the pressure gets so high, you can't spit.
Yeah. It's Jekyll and Hyde. It's stuff like that'll get you eliminated. You can't be horrific one game and stellar the second. You got to be consistent, and being inconsistent like that will get you a one-way ticket to the off season.
It's one and done, Ronnie, in playoff basketball, man. It's one and done. So that always used to make me a little nervous.
Unless you're in Pennsylvania high school basketball and you get to a certain part and you get beat, it's okay. You're a good guy. You're a good girl. We like you. Come play in the state playoffs too. Keep your season going. It's crazy basketball over here in the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that has to do with generating revenue for the PIAA.
Yeah. And in the WPIL, they play this thing where you lose and you can still play like 8 different games or whatever. It's like,
well, that's new. It never used to be that way. It never used to be. And back when I was in high school, if you didn't win your section, you didn't get into the playoffs.
Right.
There was no 4th place team with a record of 6-8 going to the playoffs. It didn't happen that way.
We all know there's an advantage to being the home team, to playing at home. And at LGKG, we have been your home team for over 90 years.
We're more than just a law firm. We're your friends, your neighbors, an advocate when life takes an unexpected turn.
We're not just lawyers that practice law. We live in this community, just like you.
When you need us most, we're at our best.